Evening. Storm specialist Mark Elliott with us this evening to watch the severe warnings that we currently have in play. Also, several tornado warned storms.
It's been a busy day. It's a busy evening setting up here now across the southeast as the low-level winds are getting a little bit stronger, adding to the shear. And we know there's a lot of instability across the southeast. So storms are now popping in this corridor between Birmingham and Huntsville. Had a tornado warning around Coleman County. National Weather Service has just expired that warning, so that is good news. But the bad news here is that they're saying that there is a in that kind of zone there could be more tornadoes. Tornado watch continues until 7, and in the new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued, saying tornadoes still possible. So we're still highlighting that tornado warning in Coleman. It's basically on its way out the door, saying that at the moment there is not a current threat of a tornado. But if you're east of there, if this were to say recycle, kind of recirculate, as these storms tend to do, there could still be a tornado into this severe thunderstorm warning. So treat that severe thunderstorm warning seriously, including into, say, Marshall County. And there it is, Coleman and Marshall. This is the area that is now currently under a severe thunderstorm warning, could be changed over to a tornado warning at just about any point. The rotation really weaker now. That is the good news. The bad news is that it will only take a moment to tighten back up again. Further south, both of these severe thunderstorm warnings also have at least some rotation. That's been the calling card of these storms today. They've had these big mesocyclones, meaning the part of the storm, they are rotating. It's just whether we get enough of a lowering and enough of a rotating component at the surface in order to say that, yes, there is a tornado possible. We've had some reports of, say, lowered wall clouds or even funnels across this area of Alabama. No confirmed reports of tornadoes yet, and let's hope we get to keep it that way. Let's jump a little bit further north now. We continue to follow storms on either side of Cincinnati. Storms have come through Cincinnati already, and there is still a severe thunderstorm warning on the east side of town. That includes Claremont, Clinton, and Warren. And this is a storm that had a tornado warning with it a little bit earlier. Some rotation within here, some within here. Nothing clear-cut right now with regards to an active tornado by any stretch. But Cincinnati, don't put your guard down. There are more storms back to your south and west. Those will be marching in towards Cincinnati before too much longer. Not, again, no clear-cut, strong rotation, but these storms are headed in your direction. So keep that in mind. Even though you've had some warnings already, does not mean that you are done with the show for the rest of the day. And so here are those storms, again, and the rotation that's within them. And the wider view shows you that we're following a lot, right? The low is still back here. Winter weather expert Tom Nizzle is going to be talking about that and all the winds and the cold air side of it. This line coming out of that low, also with individual cells, Alex, also with the chance for at least gusty winds, maybe some rotation there also. Several zones that we're watching for the next few hours.
All right, a lot to keep our eye on. Thank you. We also mentioned Tom Nizzle. He's here because we got to turn things over to North Dakota, where Winter Storm Omer is still blowing snow around the Bismarck area. Winds still gusting to around 40 miles an hour. It's 34 degrees. You can see that camera bumping, and the winds have been huge with this storm. I think that might be the calling card of Omer.
It really is. Those winds produced a lot of damage yesterday, and the blizzard conditions. Alex, we had several semis that were tipped over in those strong winds. We even had several cars of a train that were derailed off their tracks. This was that giant spin in the atmosphere with Omer yesterday afternoon here. And by the way, guys, back here across the Colorado Rockies, where they've had just a tremendous amount of snowfall, they picked up as much as 40 inches of snow out of this storm. If we go through and we run the radar here, from early yesterday morning till now, you'll watch the progress of the storm and that big spin in the atmosphere here as it moves to the north and east. Now, there's not much snow left here, but there's still a lot of wind left on its backside. Those are the snowfall totals. And again, back in these areas, these higher elevations here, places like Wolf Creek Pass, there's storm total snowfall, 45 inches of snow in those areas. And look at the winds with this. These are the kind of winds that you don't see very often here. That is a wind gust of of 103 miles an hour. Doesn't have to do with a severe thunderstorm or a tornado. That is just the wind that came through Pine Springs here at about 5,000 feet here through some of the mountain passes yesterday. The blizzard warnings in effect down here across parts of the Dakotas and Nebraska through this evening, and then later tonight they will be dropped as this storm moves off to the north and east. But Alex, there's a little bit of snow left here, but boy, take a look at the winds that are still associated with this. We are getting wind speeds gusting well over 50 miles an hour still, and that'll continue for several hours here yet this evening.
And then, of course, the heavy rain that fell across parts of Nebraska and left all that snow melting. So
a lot of flooding there as well. Big issues with that.
This storm has been a potent one, Tom.
On all sides.
Yes, thank you. Coming up on Weather Underground, we will continue to track our dangerous thunderstorms happening right now. Also, the threat for tornadoes and damaging winds as we head into the evening. Our severe thunderstorm warning here northeast of Cincinnati continues until 5:45.
Jane, this is Jim from OnStar. I've contacted help, and they're on their way.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'm going to stay with you until help arrives.
Thank you. That deer, it just came out of nowhere.
With my hepatitis C, I felt I couldn't be at my best for my family. And in only 8 weeks with Mavyret, I was cured and left those doubts behind.
I faced reminders of my hep C every day, but in only 8 weeks with Mavyret, I was cured.
Even hanging with friends, I worried about my hep C, but in only 8 weeks with Mavyret, I was cured.
Mavyret is the only 8-week cure for all common types of hep C. Before starting Mavyret, your doctor will test if you've had hepatitis B, which may flare up and cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B, a liver or kidney transplant, other liver problems, HIV-1, or other medical conditions, and all medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Don't take Mavyret with atazanavir or rifampin, or if you've had certain liver problems. Common side effects include headache and tiredness.
With hep C behind me, I feel free.
Fearless.
And there's no looking back, because I am cured.
Talk to your doctor about Mavyret.
And Doug.
What do all these people have in common, Limo? Exactly. Nothing. They're completely different people. That's why they need customized car insurance from Liberty Mutual. They'll only pay for what they need. Yes, and they could save a ton. You've done it again, Limu. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
We fit a lot of life into our Subaru Forester.
It's good to be back.
Sure is.
Over the years, we trusted it to carry and protect the things that were most important to us. Good boy. We always knew we had a lot of life ahead of us.
Remember this?
That's why we chose a car we knew would be there for us through it all.
Welcome to the all-new 2019 Subaru Forester, the longest-lasting Forester ever.
Enhance your moments. San Pellegrino, tastefully Italian.
We took North Atlantic lobster and whole fillets of batter-dipped fish and said, hey, let's put those bad boys on a bun. It's the new seafood sandwiches from Captain D's, what a fish sandwich should be. Gonna need both hands when the captain is called. Captain D's.
I dream of reaching my highest.
Sorry. I dream of getting my Taco Bell delivered to me for free.
Hey, thank you.
No problem.
Taco Bell delivery, delivered free for a limited time by Grubhub.
Justin.
Male giraffes.
Nothing. What you doing?
Hey.
Well, tornado or damaging winds causing this damage near Brownstown, Indiana, and Jackson County. National Weather Service crews will be out there to survey this, but you can see looks like some barn damage, a lot of debris strewn about the field, and We're watching plenty of active severe and tornado warnings roll through parts of the Ohio Valley into the Tennessee Valley this morning as strong thunderstorms worked their way through. Mark, we still have strong thunderstorms out there this evening.
Yeah, no active tornado warnings at this very second, but I'm sure I'm jinxing it because there are several severe thunderstorms that are showing some decent rotation both near the Ohio River and in the southeast. Let's start with this line of storms in the southeast from outside Tuscaloosa to north of Birmingham. Several of these showing some ominous signs. There's a little bit of an appendage with this storm now on the back edge. This one had a tornado warning earlier. Coleman and Marshall, severe thunderstorm warning until 5. Some rotation back here. Also some rotation in the the other portion of this storm that we're watching. So there are 2 different areas on that one that could start to rotate. Big rotating thunderstorm right in here, supercell signature, but with a lot of rain out ahead of it, which makes it very difficult, right? You will not be able to spot this one if there is a tornado forming, but look at that rain-cooled air surging down. Could have a tornado form at any point right over I-65. If that gets any tighter, National Weather Service offices would have to put a tornado warning on that one. We're also seeing some rotation in the third one in the line. This is probably the broadest of the 3 with regards to rotation, but still something to follow. Due west of Birmingham, headed towards I-22. And then outside Tuscaloosa, a bit of a hook starting to form on this storm also. Tuscaloosa and points just north. Severe thunderstorm warning till 5:30. Alex, any one of these could tighten up and give you a tornado still for the next several hours.
All right, and we're going to be watching it. We've also been monitoring a flooding emergency across parts of Nebraska. Winter Storm Omer dumped heavy rain across the eastern part of the state, and that led to rivers swelling and snow melting. Widespread flooding swamped roadways, even city parks, and thousands of people in Norfolk were told to evacuate. They had to get out. One community hit particularly hard is Columbus, Nebraska. Reports of people waiting to be rescued. Their town now underwater. Well, joining us now on the phone from the Office of Emergency Management is Tim Hoffbauer. Tim, can you start with the setup yesterday? We had any of the snow melted away along with that heavy rain, and I would imagine that just led to things really exacerbating quickly.
Yes, it did. When basically a few days before we had some rain and then quite a bit of snow on the ground, and of course the warm temperatures, and then the additional rain. It just like all of a sudden we just got multiple inches of rain at one time as the snow melted, and it just come rushing through our area, down through multiple streams. We had the Shell Creek in the northern part of the county, as well as the Loop River in the southern part of the county, and they were basically both flooding at the same time. So it was virtually cutting our county in two, having multiple operations going on, sandbagging in various events, trying to deal with 2 separate flood areas, actually.
Can you tell us about structures or homes or businesses that have been compromised? Any idea on how many of them have been flooded or worse?
Well, the good, I guess if you want to call it a good thing, the area that was hit the worst actually had flooded about 25 years ago, 20-some years ago. So there was a lot of homes and a lot of buildings that were still there, but not as many as there was back then. So we were a little bit lucky because there wasn't as many businesses, many buildings, but in homes as well. A lot of that had been removed a few years ago. So we were lucky in that aspect, but it did affect a gas station, truck stop, restaurant, multiple businesses, and about a dozen homes were affected, and some of those are where our rescue operations are going on.
What about roadways? Are there a lot of roadways or places where people would normally be traveling through that are not accessible now?
At one time, Platte County was basically an island. Every road in and out of the county, and we have the major Highway 81 and Highway 30 coming through Columbus, and so therefore we had major highways and we couldn't travel on them because the roads were all closed. We have some of those open now, and there is limited travel, but we're virtually, pretty much an island. And unfortunately, because we had the 2 events, we've got a lot of bridges out, a lot of county roads have been affected, and we haven't even been able to assess a lot of those because the floodwaters are still ongoing. It's still flooding on the Shell Creek area, and it's still flooding the Platte River area, and we expect that to go for at least a day or 2 more.
Well, Tim Hoffbauer, we thank you so much for joining us. So we really appreciate it. We're going to continue to monitor that story there in the state of Nebraska. Let's show you the situation there in the Ulmer area and the flooding that they have seen. We had snow on the ground. Then, of course, we had rain showers move in, and that led to snow melt. And then the rain, all of that water swamping those creeks, those streams, those rivers. So when we look at the checklist, heavy rain, snow melt, saturated or frozen soils, and ice cover on area rivers, we really had it all there in the Ulmer area. And not just the town of Ulmer, a lot of parts of eastern South Dakota. Flood alerts remain across sections of Minnesota, Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, as well as northern lower Michigan. And then look at the flood warnings all across eastern Nebraska, southeast South Dakota, a good chunk of Iowa, and then rivers, including the Mississippi. We'll be back after this.
Storm Tracks brought to you by Purina, your pet, our passion.
Dogs have evolved, but their nutritional needs remain instinctual. That's why there's Purina One True Instinct. High protein for strong muscles. A different breed of natural nutrition. Purina One True Instinct. Also in grain-free for dogs and cats.
If your underwear feels like this, get Buck Naked. The most comfortable underwear there is. Only at Duluth stores and DuluthTrading.com.
TGI Fridays Big Ribs. Bigger, bolder, meatier. Just $12.99 for a full rack and 2 sides. TGI Fridays, where every night the apps are endless.
Sensitive skin? Cetaphil Moisturizing Cream with 24-hour moisture lock formula gives continuous soothing relief for dry, sensitive skin. Cetaphil skin is healthy skin.
At Physicians Mutual, we know that planning for retirement can feel scary.
Heard you're retiring soon. My husband just retired. Figuring out how to stay covered was a real doozy.
Hey, look, Leonard's premiums are showing.
He doesn't even have a Medigap.
What did I say, Jim?
Anyways, we found Physicians Mutual. They made it really easy.
I'll give him a call.
Retire with confidence. We'll listen and find you the coverage you need.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Unexpected change of plans? Don't worry. Travelocity is there for you with 24/7 customer service. Now, if your flight runs out of those mini bottles, then you can worry. Travelocity. Wander wisely.
I dream of reaching my highest peak.
I dream of soaring.
I dream of getting my Taco Bell delivered to me for free. Hey.
Thank you. Problem. Taco Bell delivery. Delivered free for a limited time by Grubhub.
I tell everyone to take the Ancestry DNA test if you want to get the most details about your family history. My pie chart showed that I'm from all over Europe, but then it got super specific. I learned my people came from a small region in Poland, and even a little bit of the history about why they might have migrated during that time. Those migration patterns are more than just lines on a map. They're really your family's story. I can't wait to see what I'm going to discover next.
My father was a local doctor here in southern West Virginia. After he passed away in 1978, my mother found an article that he had been reading in one of his journals about a hospice in Connecticut. After my mother read the article, she contacted a local church about starting a hospice here in southern West Virginia. It's amazing how much hospice has changed, but one thing that never will change, it has been and will always be a special kind of caring.
You may not have noticed, but it's all connected to the internet. Sure, it's YouTube, Netflix, and adorable selfies, but it's also high-octane gaming, security cams, thermostats, your fridge, Wi-Fi speakers, smartwatches, workout equipment, pet feeders, and even crock-pots. Seriously, and it's all on the same internet connection. At least with internet from Suddenlink, your home can live up to its fully connected potential. Without it, not so much. Suddenlink, the fastest internet provider in the U.S.
Look at the water.
Trusted.
I want to get right to it.
Reliable.
This is just beginning.
Accurate. You're watching America's #1 weather network, The Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 66 degrees under mostly cloudy skies.
Tonight, thunderstorms, low 52. Winds south at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance of rain, 80%. Friday, rain showers early with some sunshine for the afternoon. High 58. Chance of rain, 50%. Friday night, cloudy, low 30. Winds west-northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back into Weather Underground. A stormy night across Chicago, or a stormy day. Rain expected. So that could change over to snow as temperatures drop in the morning. And Tom, we've seen plenty of that with this storm. We had rain changing over to snow. We saw our own Mike Seidel in it yesterday in the Denver area. If you watched him on Wednesday morning, he was standing out in the rain. Big change by Wednesday afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. And not out of the question this time.